Today, I'd like to talk about my early history in the area where I grew up and what it was like. And so I'll be mentioning some things about that. And then I'll be getting into the problem there about pictures. Why weren't there more pictures and things like that? So just to give you a little background here to begin with. I was born on August 28th, 1942, at the home place in Wazeeka Township in Crawford County. It used to be the first residence on Highway 131 when traveling from Highway 60 toward Steuben. My folks did not have a camera then, so there are no pictures as I did not have a camera other than a school Polaroid one when I taught at Wazeeka until I came to Bloomington. The home place consisted of about 7½ acres which bordered the Kickapoo River. On higher ground, a plateau area, were located the house, a large combination garage and workshop, a barn, and a large garden. Until the rural electric line came through in the spring of 1948, we relied on an outhouse, which was a toilet facility, and a hand pump for obtaining water, and kerosene lamps for light. But to give you some idea of what it was like with cameras and so on, and picture this in Prairie. She has a lot of old cameras, and the one that we have here, of course, you can see a lot of different sizes, and sometimes they had larger negatives that were used in the cameras. But just to give you some idea how many different kinds there were out there. And then I have another one from the same place there. Kind of gives you another little angle of how you can see things and how the sizes were like. Some things had more than one lens that was visible, and even probably somewhere in the collection was a Polaroid camera, things like this, and things that were of different size negatives. But a lot of people, including my folks, did not have a camera at that time, and so that's why we're sort of kind of limited. Now, also with the film, this is the type of thing that you would see for a great number of years. It's changed completely here in more recent years, but a roll of film could come in a canister like this, and the film could be coming out of the thing like this. And we had reloadable cartridges, used to get film in 100-foot rolls when I was working with the yearbooks and with the school system in Bloomington. So these things were very important, and why we're limited as to kind of pictures. Now, one that was well known for size, this is a big picture of one, but box cameras were rather common back then in those days. And so no automatic focusing or anything like that. You had to sort of be the right distance away, hold the camera nice and steady, tell people don't move now, hold the pose, all that kind of thing there, because it took a little time to get things done. And then here's one older picture at one of my aunt and uncles there, be Roscoe and Helen Hansen, and they were located in the Harris Ridge area. That's what was called at the time. And here you can see part of the barn and the corn crib and so on. I'm in the pictures, my mom's in there, and so is my cousin, but it's hard to tell because, again, negatives are kind of small and cameras weren't the greatest for trying to see things. Now, another thing that was very common in those days, now this one is, you can see falling apart there, But it kind of gives you an idea of how some of the rural outside toilets looked in those days, and this is one that's sort of falling apart. In many books you can see a lot of pictures, but things are just kind of coming apart, falling apart. We did have outside facility there at home, looked different than this. My dad was a good carpenter and everything, so we had one built that was pretty nice shape there. But again, we didn't have any picture of that at the time. Now, just a little introduction in a future one here. We'll be talking more about the Einstein School that I attended. That was in only about 8/10 of a mile from where I grew up, and along the highway there. You didn't have much traffic in those days, so there wasn't any problem about walking because there wasn't much for shoulders or anything. But this kind of gives a side view. This was taken in the Boydtown area in later years, got turned into a garage and that, but at least you have some idea how it looked at from the side. And here's a picture, not very clear. This is one of the earlier years when my brothers that were older than me by 5-7 years, and so it's hard to pick them out because it was a very small negative that this was made from, but at least you get an idea of how it sort of looked there. At least there's the Einstein School sign that you can see there, and a couple of entrances that you could use there. One other school in the area, because it was very well known, the Harris Ridge School. This is a painting that was done of the school and church. It was a church at one time and a school for a while. In later years there, before it got torn down, card parties used to be, card players used to use that building for card playing. And so this was a landmark that you could see from Highway 131 as you were going towards Steuben, because it was up higher on the land and you could see it. But this is a painting that was done by my aunt Helena, and one of the examples. Some of the other pictures are held by another member of the family yet, but that at least gives you an idea. And we'll be getting into more in the next session here about what it was like here at these rural schools. So that will take care of things there until our next session here concerning what it was like attending one of the rural schools.